Hey everyone, hopefully you are all doing well today. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My name is Alex Sani. I'm the Industry Development Coordinator here at Manitoba Music. I'd like to recognize that Manitoba Music was founded on Treaty Run territory, which is the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. And I'd like to recognize a strong Inuit community here in Manitoba. Manitoba Music resides Manitoba Music respects the treaty in which our organization resides, and we commit to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. And this is Manitoba Film and Music's big portal tour. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and yeah, we're really excited to have everybody here. Oh, looks like I might have lost the guests. Okay, give me 1 second. Just making sure that they have that. Steven and Bonnie, if you could click on that link again, I'll make sure that we can get you up and running. Hold on 1 second. All right. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties, but we are ready to go now. So at this time, I would like to invite MFM's own Stephen and Bonnie to help walk us through this exciting new tour of what we've all been waiting for, the futurization of the application process for grants. So really happy to have the both of you here, and we have some people joining in, which is exciting. We want to find out all about this. So yeah, I will turn it over to the two of you.
Great. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having us. Thanks to everybody who's working in the background there on Manitoba Music, make this happen. I'm Stephen Carroll. I'm the Director of Music Programs here at Manitoba Film and Music. And with me is my colleague, Bonnie. Bonnie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm the Music Programs Coordinator at Manitoba Film and Music.
So we're going to give you a quick overview of our program updates for the year to start things going. We've announced some program changes last week, and then we're going to go in and look at the portal, which is the new application system that we're using to receive and manage grant applications. So we're going to throw it to Bonnie to start her presentation, and then I'll jump in and give you guys a bit of a tour and show you how to use the portal and some tips and tricks on that. Bonnie, feel free to share screen and get yourself going. We may have another glitch here. Alex may need to enable share screen. There we go.
Can you see it?
Looks good to me.
Okay, great. All right, so program updates for this fiscal year. So we've changed the names of the programs. Marketing and video is now Promote. Tour is now Perform. The Music Business Development Fund is now Build, and the recording programs are now Produce and Produce Out of Province Artists. So I'll start with Promote. So basically it covers your marketing, content creation, and video production. So the marketing can be anything from, hiring your publicist, buying social media ads, hiring a radio tracker, all those things. And then content creation would be, your social media videos. And your video production is the same as the old video program. So live videos, lyric videos, animated videos, music videos with stories. The whole thing is still eligible. They're just all under Promote now. And we've changed the program caps a little bit. So if you have an MFM funded current release, so your recording was funded through the Produce program, then you're eligible for up to $10,000 for the fiscal year, which runs April 1 to March 31. And if we didn't fund your current release, then you're eligible for up to $5,000. And then we've also updated the guidelines a little bit. You have to have 4 confirmed live dates in order to access the full $10,000, even with an MFM funded release. And then Perform, so this is the tour program. So everything that was eligible before is still eligible. Accommodations, hotel, that is accommodations, artist fees, per diems, gas, vehicle rental, all that stuff is still eligible under the Perform program. And then annual caps. So same thing, if you have an MFM funded release, then you're eligible for up to $15,000 in the fiscal. And if we didn't fund your recording, then you're eligible for $7,500. And so the business development program is now called Build, and that's for music companies to come in and access funding. So we've changed the level names as well. So level 1 used to be the emerging company, and level 2 was the established company. And the difference is with level 1, you can have been in business for a year, and for level 2, you have to have been in business for 2 years. And those caps are $3,000 and $15,000. And this one has a deadline coming up June 15th at 5. So you have to have your applications into the portal before the end of the business day on June 15th. And then Produce is the recording funding. So the same levels are still there in place. So there's the demo for $2,000, The level 1 commercial release is $3,000. The level 2 is up to $10,000, and the level 3 is up to $20,000. So the demo is something that you're not going to release. The level 1 would be, it could be a single, it could be an EP, it could be a full album, whatever you plan for that full $3,000. You just have to record a minimum of 1 song. And with the level 2, you have to record a minimum of 5 songs. And with level 3, it's a minimum of 6 songs. And this one also has a sales requirement. You have to have sold 750 units of your previous release or have the equivalent amount of streams. And the first deadline for this fiscal is coming up May 11th, 2023 at 5. So again, the end of the business day. And then the other 2 deadlines, one is in September and one is in January. And then out of province artists, so still the level 1 demo is for $2,000, level 1 for $3,000, and level 2 for up to $10,000. And that's the same deadline of May 11th at 5. And then because the portal is just opening now, we're allowing a grace period for people who apply before the end of April, that your expenses can be backdated to April 1st, the first day of our current fiscal. So that is all. And then this is just our email addresses, which are also available on our website. And all of the guidelines and the budget templates are available on our website as well.
Great. Thanks, Bonnie. So a few changes. We've reduced the length of the program names, made them a little smaller, much better, much more suitable for the portal itself. And you can always check in with us if you have any questions about some of the nuances of the program changes, particularly probably the promote program. With the concept there is just it's a one-stop shop for all of your promotion requirements for a recording. And you can find that application inside the new system, and there's some information on the website. So with that, if that's okay, I will jump in and start the portal overview. And give me a second. Okay, great. So after quite a lot of work by MFM team, we've launched a system, a agency-wide portal, which works not only for the music department, but also for film programs and tax credits. If you want some basic information on the portal, there's an overview here listed on our website, which you can find through the Apply Now button, which will just link you to this landing page. We have an instructional video here, which will recap some of the stuff I'm covering today. So you can use it as a quick reference guide if you're getting a little confused as to how to enter the system. And it'll give you here a written overview of all the different aspects that I'm going to cover here today. It's a bit wordy, but you can always use this as a quick reference guide. If you're looking for something and you're confused about how to use it, you can always just check this page and search for the item that you're looking for. So this is the landing page that you will be directed to from the How to Apply page. I would urge you to look through the How to Apply guide prior to coming to this page and starting a registration to ensure primarily that you register in the right category, because there's a few options. So we have a language option up here in the top right corner, which lets you choose between languages. And this sets your user experience for your time in the portal, and you can change it at any time and flip between the languages. You will always be directed back to your applicant homepage if you do flip languages in between in one session, by the way. One little tip to take care of if you're a bilingual applicant, that could get a little confusing. So new users who haven't registered will be in the system yet will be clicking on the register here button. Those that already have an existing profile obviously can log in here and continue on with their application process. So today I'm going to show you how to register in the kind of 3 ways that you end up being able to enter the system. We have 2 categories here. One for applicant, which should be the channel that people who are applying directly for funding for themselves or their company, they should choose this option. grant writer juror. So that would be somebody who is primarily writing grants for others, is a juror in the system, or it's a third party entering the system in administrative capacity. But the vast majority of everybody out there will be choosing applicant to come in. So if you are a solo artist, you would choose here, because you're going to be applying for the programs directly. If you work for a company who applies to Manitoba Film and Music for funding for that company, you would choose this entranceway. If you're a band member of a band that's already registered in the system, you'd actually come in this way too. The system will let you have multiple users for your business profile with us. We call it your applicant profile. And it's where all your basic information about your company, your band, your group lives, or you as an artist. And the system will log that information and save it for you. So we want to make sure that you go in the right way. You choose the right category. You can always reach out to us if you have any questions. We've identified here in this list who should choose the applicant category. So that would be artists, permanent band members, group members, individual film applicants, company owners, and permanent employees of applicant companies. And those that are grant writers or jurors should choose the grant writer juror option. And those are persons who are not applying for funding for themselves or for their company, but are writing grants for others, or are a juror for MFM programs. Again, you can always reach out to us here if you have any questions. If you're both a grant writer and an artist, choose the primary activity that you're going to be entering the system as. So if you do make applications for yourself as an artist, you would choose this, and you can write, the system is set up that so you can still write grants for others, but only choose one category to register in. Thanks for the question, Ashley. No, the cap didn't go up on touring. Well, I won't be able to answer all these questions regarding programs during this presentation on the portal. The caps have changed slightly on the programs. They've been reduced for those who have not received MFM recording funding. So today I'm going to take you through the registration next steps, and then we'll give you a tour of the basic functionality that you can access in the portal. So we'll start here. This slide brings you to an applicant information page. There's an overview of what needs the information that you should be mindful of when you're making a registration here. And the first step that we like you to do if you're coming in as an applicant is to check to see if we have your information already on file, because we've imported the legacy data from our old system into the new system. So here you can look up an applicant company name, and for instance, whatever applicant name you use for your applications to Manitoba Film and Music's grants in the PDF version will be on file in here. So for me, I have a user profile, one of my test ones. I would click on that, and I could then complete this, going to be associated with that entity, that applicant profile. So if you're coming in for the first time registering the system as an applicant, this is the first move. So you'd enter your business name in here, which would be what we will have logged on file for all your past applications, and you will try to make an association with that. All associations will be reviewed by MFM staff prior to being approved, just as a security check to make sure people are not registering with incorrect companies or applicant profiles. If you don't have an existing profile in our system, you've never received or received funding from MFM or applied to us, you would actually choose this option. If you can't find the name, click here, and this will take you to a page to register a brand new applicant profile in the system. If you do find your name, you can fill out all your information here and continue on your way. So if your group has previously received funding from us, or if you are an artist, likely you're going to find your name in here, your business name in here, and make an association. And that should stand for all additional group members too. And when the first person gets registered in the system here, you'll be known as the primary contact. So if I registered this today, I'd be considered the primary contact. And if I had other group members, I'd say come in and look up the name and register this way as well. And they'll become associated with that organization and have the same rights to create applications, manage applications, and submit reports and other requirements in the system. So that's pretty simple. Let's hit submit, and we'll review that once once you've submitted, and then we'll let you know if you're approved to make that association, and then you'll be able to enter the system to complete your applicant profile, which will be just a little bit more information, such as updating your business registration, some social media information. And I'll show you guys all of that in 1 second. So,
Stephen, if I can just hop in with a quick comment too, with the business name lookup. So if you have a business name like Bonnie's Music Group, then the name will be there. If you didn't register a name and you've always been using the number like 111 Manitoba, then the number will be there instead. So it's whatever you've always had the contracts and the checks written to.
yeah,
In the past.
Thank you. So in this case, I'm going to move on to the other case where you don't find your name because you're creating a brand new registration system. You click on this link here, and it takes you to a this page, which lets you fill in the information regarding your business entity, your applicant profile, so the business name that you use for your group, band, etc. So that would be something you would have registered with the company's office to receive. Okay, so again, we've always had that rule that you have to have a registered business to receive funds from Manitoba Film and Music, and we ask you to put that in there and make your fill out the rest of the information that relates to your business here. And so what's going to happen is you're going to create an applicant profile with this information up here. You're going to make sure to select film or music. In most of your cases today on this for this presentation, you'll be checking music. And then down here, you're going to put your personal information. So you're going to be creating not only a applicant profile information, not only going to create an applicant profile with this information, you're going to create a personal profile for you as a user. And then you'll hit, once you've completed it all, hit submit and enter. And then your information will be entered, and MFM will review this submission to make sure it's accurate, and then we'll give you access to continue on and finish creation of the applicant profile. Okay, so that's the two ways for registering as in the applicant category. I'm just going to go back to the main page and show you guys what happens in the grant writer instance. Grant writer is a little more streamlined. Here, we wouldn't have logged their information in the system, so there is no legacy data for them to be associated with. And these are for people who are writing grants for other people but have never applied to Manitoba Film and Music and don't make applications to Manitoba Film and Music for themselves. They're only writing for others. And here you're creating only a personal profile in this instance. And they will have the ability to, once in the system, make associations with existing applicant profiles, such as other bands that they need to write grants for, or artists that they need to write grants for. They can link to those entities inside the system to write grants on their behalf if they're granted permission. And that's a feature called the Request Manager, which allows these kinds of associations. And I'll show you guys all about that once we get inside the system. So here they would just fill this out for information out. Again, choose one of the two program streams so that you get directed to the right folders for us to review on the inside of the system, and click the CAPTCHA, and on you go your merry way. I will show you now a bit about the interior of the system. So I want to show you what it looks like for an applicant. Just give me 1 sec here. So this is the homepage for all applicants, and it looks the same actually for people who have come in as the grant writer or juror. So this is your homepage, and you'll probably get very familiar with this homepage. It houses all the relevant links that you'll need to start applications, as well as access current applications that you have underway or have already submitted, as well as action items that may require your attention. Up here in the top right corner is you'll see a letter that'll be your first initial, your first name, and you click on that for a My Links menu. And you'll see here you have access to your personal profile, your applicant profile, change password feature, and various system notifications, which would come from us, which you probably won't see too many of, but now and then you will. And it'll also show up in this little bell. If we ever have to issue a deadline reminder, we might throw a little notification up in there, and that's what that's for. This is a feature that lets you change between applicant profiles, and I'll go into that a little bit later. And you can always see which applicant profile you're currently using by clicking on this building. And so this is one of my business companies that I have in here, and I'm currently active as that. And I'm currently only associated with this organization. Here's the change language feature again, French and English. And the request manager, which is a feature you can use to make associations with other applicant profiles to write grants on their behalf. So that's the case where if you've come in as an applicant, like you've registered yourself as an artist, you can actually use this feature to write grants for other people if you have that in your, if that is something you pursue. Again, the home page here. So before I go into programs, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the applicant profile and personal profile. So personal profile will house all the information that you logged on your registration. If you came in either registering with an existing company, your information would be carried over here. Here you can see any associations that you would have been that you have made with other applicant profiles, should that have happened. You can update this information at any time and save it. Here's your applicant profile. So this will carry over various information from your initial registration. I already have completed my applicant profile, but I have not submitted it. So you'll see up here in the top left corner, it's incomplete. So once you've filled out all the information here in the required fields and uploaded all the required uploads, you'll hit submit and staff will review it. And once it is approved, it will go to the status complete. And at that stage, you'll be able to access programs and start applications. It's a fairly simple form here. This information you can update any time. You'll see the primary contact is myself, my test user. My selection from my registration of music has carried over. I've already uploaded a fake business registration, just a placeholder document. And here I would list any persons that I would want to be authorized to also access and make applications for this profile. So this would be my other band members, or if I'm a business, it would be the other company owners or permanent employees. You don't need to list grant writers or other people that may work as a third party. This is just for people that are actually on the business registration or are permanent band members in the group that are part of the ownership. If you're a solo artist, it would just be you as a solo person. You don't need to worry about filling this out because we already have you up. We've already captured all your information up here. That is explained. All this is explained in the help text, so you can always refer to it here. And we'll be referring to this list when we receive requests for additional persons to be associated with your profile. So when your band members, if you've done the initial registration already and your band members want to come in and be associated with that organization, they've come in as an applicant, which is what they should do. We would refer to this list, say, okay, yes, we've seen that you've been indicated as a person who's authorized to access this profile and make applications. Then we would give them permission. And if you ever need to remove anybody, you'd have to just let us know and we would remove them. You can put your bio in there, you put in your band name, and here you put in your artist information. So discography, past releases, this all stays on file with us, and so you don't need to enter it over and over again, but we encourage you to keep it up to date because we will be looking at this when we're doing the evaluation of the applications, because some of these statistics inform the scoring in our programs. So you'd also update your social media, which you can enter here and save. The system is built so that if you're missing anything, it'll be flagged as incomplete. For instance, if I don't have a bio or I don't have a group name and I try and submit, it'll let me know that those pieces are missing. So I'm just going to put some content in here. And I can save it. And then if it's all complete, I can hit submit and staff will review this. So there's quite a lot to take in here. This will be the first thing you do once you get permission to enter the system. You won't have access to the programs until you have a completed applicant profile. So the first thing you want to do once you get the email from us that you're authorized to enter the system is to go in and complete your applicant profile and submit it for us to review. It can take up to 3 business days for that whole process to be completed. So we encourage you to do it in advance of any deadline or prior to the date that you need to submit an application. Okay, it's a lot to take in, so I know I went through quite a lot there. There's a few other pieces to this page here that are kind of interesting. So you can see contacts up here, this number. There's contacts with a number associated with it. That'll show all the list of persons who are authorized contacts in that organization. And so in our system, there's 3 tiers of users. There's the primary contact, generally the first person who registers with that business in it, or applicant name, applicant profile name in the system. Organization contacts, we call them, or applicant profile contacts. Those are like second tier, and then third tier are the grant writers, which are called associate contacts. And you kind of see that tier here. Just a little background to keep you guys sort of on the right path, understanding how the system is built, so it doesn't seem too, hopefully it's not too frustrating and confusing. So these are the main contacts for the organization. So in this case, I'm the only owner of this business, of this applicant profile, and so there's only one there. But if I had additional band members or company owners, they would be listed here. Now the associations, I have one grant writer who works for me, let's say, helping me write grants. And this is this profile here. They're an association. They're an associated contact. And I can remove them here and edit that if I'd like to. In this situation, the users control who are the third parties that can access their profiles directly. And then over here, you can see the grants that you currently have going. And this is just a quick list of all these things. So I'm just going to go back to the applicant profile main page. So again, once we've submitted your profile for review, we will review it, and then you'll be granted access to programs. And I'll go talk about programs and the pages for submitting applications now. And maybe I'll give you a bit of a tour of these folders here. So up here are the list of programs. If you click on this, it takes you to film programs. A little slow today, but all their programs. If you click here, it's music programs. And here it's quite simply laid out. You have a little overview of the program. We have the guidelines here, both French and English, and then the budget templates, French and English. So we are using essentially the same budget templates that you're already familiar with, except for Promote, which has a combined video content in it as well. So it's a slightly different budget. And we ask that you only use these current templates when making applications. We won't accept applications using old templates. So I've already started an application, which is here in my draft. So this tier is your applications, ones that you have started. So they move through these various buckets as they go on their journey. In the draft stage, they're not submitted. Once they are submitted, they show up here. Once they're approved, they moved out of the submitted button to approved, or if they're declined, they move here. They kind of, once they've gone through the review stage, and let's say they are approved, they generally live here for quite a long time, where there's a lot of action items that, as you guys are already aware, that are required, such as reports, filling out contracts, and whatnot. And those action items will show up here. So if you are approved, you'll get an email notice with a letter of commitment, but you'll also see it show up here to let you know you have one that's pending for your review. And if there's any requirements, they'll be listed in that document. And once we receive them, your letter of commitment will move to the status of complete, and we'll proceed on with the issuing of the contract. Contracts you'll get a notification via email with a link to sign contracts via DocuSign. The contracts are done outside the system, but you'll also see a notice here that there's a contract pending your review. You'll also see report notices, so such as your final report, or if there's an interim report due, that will be here, and you can access it at any time to start filling them out. Everything is happening in the system now. So not only are your applications being submitted, but your reports are being delivered in the system. And largely the reports are a series of uploads that are that you have to fill, or sorry, that are need to be completed as part of the requirements. This is the home page. You'll be spending a lot of time here, I imagine. So we'll look at some applications. So I've already started a perform application here, just a little dummy one. I've clicked on my drafts, I can open it up. And this is the basic page for a new application. A little bit of instructions up here, noting that you should enable pop-ups for your browser because the upload fields and some of the tables are a pop-up. They do seem to work fairly smoothly. I know a lot of users are traumatized from pop-ups on other systems, but these are fairly smooth. Again, if you try and submit an application prior to all the requirements being met, you will receive a series of warnings. So this application is very incomplete. So there's many pieces of information that I still need to complete. But if you want to do quick edits, you can click on the specific item and it'll take you in that application right to where that issue is that needs to be addressed. This applicant actually has a applicant profile that's incomplete. So this application will not be able to be submitted until the applicant profile is in a complete status. So just keep that in mind when you access programs and you're making applications. If you haven't completed your applicant profile and it's not in the complete status, you won't be able to submit your application. I should note there's 2 tabs on each application. One is just your applicant information, which largely carries over from your applicant profile. So here's my little applicant profile information. This is me as the user. I'm the person who started the application, so I become the primary contact for that application. And in this instance, I've actually invited a collaborator to participate on the application, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in 1 second. My short little bio, which is not very well written. And then some of the information that was in my artist discography is carried over, and this is for use for staff in their review process and also for jurors. So you definitely want to make sure this information is up to date when in your applicant profile. You can always jump over and access your applicant profile at any time, but if you do, remember to save draft. Okay. One thing about the system is you'll need to save draft on a regular basis. I'll reinforce that again, save draft as much as possible. Save draft also triggers the display of all of the upload fields. So you may start an application, and I'll show you an example in a second, and all the application uploads are not present, but save draft, everything comes through. It also does the autofill of all the applicant profile information. So saving draft lets you start an application, the application process fully. If you want to, you can withdraw application as well. And you click that and it'll be withdrawn. And that's just a housekeeping item. I encourage you guys to use this because you might be starting a lot of drafts, and to avoid confusion, I would withdraw the application. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to withdraw this application. Yes. And then this button will take you back to your home page. So now we have no application, but all the application forms are generally the same. That was a perform one. I'll open up a produce one, which we have a deadline coming up, May 11th. So you guys want to start filling out your applications as soon as they open, which is tomorrow. Wanted to mention on the applicant information page, there's an applicant declaration, which you'll need to click, which just says you have the authority to submit the application on behalf of this applicant profile. And then the project information tab. Every program looks the same like this. You'll note on the right-hand side, there's an overview here of, a quick menu of content that you need to address in the application form. These are like headers. So you can jump to the permanent group member section just by clicking on this. Or you like, oh, I want to update my budget. So rather than scrolling, you can just click on this and it'll take you right there. For produce, you want to make sure you choose a level. Don't forget to do that. And choose the right level. That is key. Let me say that again. Choose the level, choose the right level. Do that first, because this triggers a series of different fields to open. because the requirements for a level 1 are different than they are for a level 2 or a level 3. So you want to make sure you're choosing the right level and you're filling out the right form, because that could obviously affect the future of the grant. So you can fill out all these fields. I won't go into too much detail about it. You'll note here, I'm not seeing all the uploads. That's because I haven't saved draft. I'm going to save draft. And now I have uploads, fields, and table buttons, which I can access. Open this up, and this is our former permanent group members table, which you guys will be familiar with from all our applications prior. You can click the plus button to add persons and put in the cultural information. We do state that this information is voluntary regarding the demographic information on yourself or people in your project, but we do encourage you to put it in there because the data is valuable to let us know if we're reaching a wide and diverse array of applicants. Team members, fill out the regular team member section. You'll see a lot of this will be familiar. And for marketing plans, they're an upload. So we ask you to, use your own template for marketing plans and upload your document here. And for the new system for produce, we've asked you to also include the lyrics and song treatments in that main document. The CV members, like the resumes of your team members, can be uploads. Any past press can be separate uploads. Any letter support can be separate uploads. The jurors will be downloading these to review these because of the way the system is built. So a bit more information on the project here. Recording schedule, song information, and there's an upload field here for uploading your MP3s of your songs. And please note it's only MP3s we're accepting. If you don't know how to convert them, I think it's fairly easy through Apple to do that, or online services. Ask your mastering person for MP3s, or your team members rather for MP3s. Okay, so you wouldn't have a mastering person at this point. I retract that comment. Upload is for budget. It's simple. It's a template. You can download the template here, upload it here, and we ask you to fill in the total project budget. That's universal across all programs. And then other funding, any other funding requests that you're making. Once it's all complete, you can hit submit, and it'll end up in your submitted bucket here. It will stay there until it's reviewed by the jury, and it's either been approved or declined, or reviewed by staff or approved or declined. So that's the application process. We feel it's fairly straightforward. So there are a fair number of uploads and pop-up tables to keep in mind, or one or two. You'll want to have your documents prepared in advance, but feel free to get in the portal, get a feel for what the questions are. A lot of the items will carry over, or a lot of the fields and questions carry over from the old forms, so they'll be familiar. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the other features that we just kind of breezed through a little bit. One was the collaborators feature. So when you are working on an application, you have the option to invite a team member, a band member, group member, your manager, to participate on completing the grant for you or alongside you. And that you can see that I have a collaborator listed on this project, or not on this project, on the last one, which I went through. So I don't have that anymore. But here's how you add a collaborator. I just was on just to go back one step. I think I went a little too quickly. Let's just go back to the home page. So you open the application and you save draft. You can do this at any time. Collaborators are a way of you allowing another person to participate on the grant, and they will get full authorization to submit applications, receive documents, etc., that are related to the grant, such as reports. It's quite simple to add a collaborator. You just hit this plus symbol, fill out their information, their email, click the role as collaborator, and then you can invite them to be a collaborator. They'll receive a notification in their email with a link to come and collaborate on the project. So they'll need to be registered in the system for them to be able to access the grant, obviously. But we encourage you to use this function for working on grants with your teammates, band members. And if you are a grant writer, we actually ask you to invite the artist to be a collaborator on the grant as well, to ensure that they receive information regarding that proposal and are aware of all of the funding requests that may be being put forth under their name. So the collaborative function is pretty cool. It's fairly simple to use. And then when you receive, if you are collaborating on a grant, that application will show up with, it's right in your colleague's profile. So what you'll notice is if you switch applicant profiles, which I'll show you how to do next, you'll always see the list of applications you started. This is a kind of a comment for grant writers and people who are working with multiple people or multiple projects. So we're going to look at the request manager feature now. I'm going to go back to my individual account. So I have an individual account here. This is my grant writer account. So grant writers don't have an applicant profile. You'll see this. They only have a personal profile. But using Request Manager, they can make associations with other entities or applicant profiles in the system. So I've gone to Request Manager. I clicked on Request Manager and it took me here. And if I want to make an association with another applicant profile, I want to write a grant for another artist, I look them up here and I'd hit submit. You have to know what their registered business name is for this to work, or business number, as Bonnie noted. Once that request is completed, however, and it's approved by the person who is the primary contact of that other applicant profile, it'll show up here in your list of profiles. So though here I'm operating as a grant writer, I actually have access to make applications for my other company, for this company. So I can start an application here. And if I do, it will, if I've got the applicant profile selected with a checkbox on it, I can refer down here. There's a bottom in the bottom left corner. It'll show you what profile you're using. If I hit save draft, it'll autofill that applicant profile information into the application form. So this is something for grant writers. If you're just an artist coming in the system, you don't really probably need to worry about this, but it's maybe it's information that you might find useful. So that is the request manager. If I am an applicant, so this was a grant writer. If I am an applicant, so here's my applicant profile. I receive the requests here once they're sent, and I can approve them here. This user has not made any requests to be associated with any other applicant profile, so there's only one listed here. Okay, yeah, so I think that kind of covers the basic overview of all the system functionality. I see there's some questions, so maybe we'll jump to some questions. I'll just put this back on the home page here. Again, reminder, the portal is open for registrations presently, and you can start by registering. We will look at your initial registration to ensure you've chosen the right category, either applicant or grant writer, and then give you permission to go into the system. At that point, you will be, depending on how you've registered, you'll be granted permission to access the applicant profile, to complete it and submit it. So let's look at some questions here. I'm just going to open up the chat. So somebody has asked a question, do I need all the support items for the marketing plan? Yeah, so it depends on which specific items you're referring to and for which program. For the Promote program, which is the new marketing content creation program, the requirements, actually, if I could have my share screen back, I could share screen again. Great. Yeah. So all the upload fields for the marketing plan, the marketing program, which is called Promote, are listed here, required document uploads. So the marketing plan, any of the publicists, so supporting documents for them. And then here, if you're applying for a music video, you'd actually click yes if you are, and that opens a different set of or additional set of windows. And there, you'd actually need to submit the treatment for the video and the director's CV, again, the budget and whatnot. So I don't know if I did answer that clearly. You can always let me know.
Yeah,
Right.
for the Perform program, you still need to write a marketing plan and upload that as well.
Yeah. So there's a question also here regarding past applications. So applications that were submitted last year or in previous years, which are outside the portal system. We'll be receiving those cost reports the old way for now, which is just via email, and we'll be closing them out the regular way. Okay, and I've got a few more here. Let me just see.
If you mean, like changing your deadline, so it's just the same as before. Just send me an email with the new date.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Just going back through the questions. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like we've covered those initial set of questions. It's probably a lot to take in this one view or the one overview we've done here. Key pieces to keep in mind. Choose the right category when registering. You always want to choose one that is your primary way of engaging with an NFM. So if you're an artist, you have a direct relationship with us, choose that. If you don't make applications to Manitoba Film Music for yourself in any way, you'd be a grant writer, come in that way. Or if you're just a juror, you'd register that way. Again, most folks will be coming in through applicant, and that's where artists should come in, as well as band members, and then music company owners and their staff should also choose that category. We'll be reviewing your registrations and making sure you're coming the right way, so we can always make any adjustments, and you can reach out to us with any questions that you may have about the portal, about the application process. So as we noted previously, there's a deadline coming up for the recording program, and that's May 11th at 5 p.m. And so the portal will shut down to receiving applications from users for that deadline at 5 p.m. sharp. So there's no extensions. So make sure you get the app in, and this is automated by the system. So even more, let's say, specific than we were. So another question, when will the new platform be available? It is open now. And if you go to our website and you click the how to apply, it'll take you to the how to apply page, which has the link to the portal, this registration page that you see here. It's opening for applications tomorrow. So we're hoping to get you in, as many of you in the next 24 hours, and then open it up more broadly to users for applications. And Alex, I think that's the end of our session, unless there's no more questions, unless there are more questions, rather.
I just want to reiterate what Stephen said earlier, too, about making sure you apply for the right level. Because if you do, like if you start out with a level 1 and then you switch it to a level 2, you'll actually lose the information that you had already input. So that's why it's important to pick the right one the first time.
Yeah, so I know a user has come in and registered, looks like choosing the grant writer. So Andrea has chosen grant writer when you registered. Likely, I think the best course for you would have been to come in the applicant choice and chosen that path. But we'll talk about that offline. So if you only see personal profile in the menu on your right side, that's likely because either you have not been granted access to the applicant profile by staff, or you chose the grant writer option. So Andrea, I'm not too sure which of those you did, but you're not authorized to access the applicant profile until staff have reviewed your registration, and you'll receive an email from us letting you know that. So
yeah, so if you registered like within the last hour and a half, then we wouldn't have had a chance to review it yet.
Exactly. So that can happen. So we catch you guys kind of at a through a series of gates, which ideally are there to ensure that you get to the right place and to help you along the way. It's going to be a little bit of a slow registration process, but you will probably get a little bit faster as the system gets more refined. So this is an early draft of the system. You may note some issues. Please let us know if you note any issues. We've done our best to get all the bugs and fixes out of it over the last year, but we're sure there's a couple in there. And again, reach out if you have any questions. And Alex, I think that concludes today's presentation.
Yes, I believe it does. It was very, very thorough and very informative, and I'm happy to see that we've had some nice viewer participation with some of the questions. So this, I know you've been working on this for a long time, the both of you, and I'm really excited that you got a chance to share it with us. And I know, speaking for myself and all the other musicians and artists and music businesses here in Manitoba that are going to be spending a lot of time with this, we're really happy that you're able to pull this off for us and the music community in general. So this is really wonderful. Thank you so much. And for everybody who joined us for this info session, I hope it was informative. It's going to live online. So you're going to be able to come back to our Facebook page and look at this. You're going to be able to come back and rewatch it on our YouTube channel as much as you want. And feel free to reach out to both Bonnie and Steven and myself, or anybody here at Manitoba Music, obviously Manitoba Film and Music. We're really happy to do this. So I will let you continue on from your lunch break, full of information and excited about all the new possibilities that this portal is going to give us. So thank you again, Bonnie. Thank you again, Steven, for a wonderful presentation. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye.